Here are 5 tips on how you can level up from level A to level B and eventually start getting whatever it is that you're set for yourself. Whether it's the job, whether it's the money, whether it's the women, whether it's the business, it doesn't really matter. One thing you need to understand that everything that you need outside of you, you must first have it inside of you. I've made a list of 5 things that if you just implement in your life in the next 90 days, it will dramatically change your life. It will change the way you look at yourself, because that's all that is important. The way you look at the way you look at yourself. Because the way you look at yourself is the same way you're going to look at the world. And the same way you're going to look at the world is the same way the world is going to look at you. Now, the first thing that you should implement in your life is raising your self-awareness. Awareness is the prerequisite of control. You can't control something that you're not aware of. The more you are aware of yourself, the better you can control yourself. And then the better you can control yourself, you gain what we call self-mastery. All the mastery that you need is the mastery of self. If you can control yourself, if you can control your thoughts, ultimately controlling your actions, you are bound to get whatever it is that you want. The most effective way, or the one way to increase your self-awareness, is to learn more about yourself. Attending seminars not to get answers on what to do, but to learn more about yourself, to learn more about your mind. The way you can learn about yourself is simply by introspecting yourself. The things that I do to inspect myself is, number one, I journal. The more I write down about how I think, the more I draw the thought patterns in words on paper. Then I come back and I read whatever it is that I wrote. I can conclude my thought patterns. I can actually read my thought patterns, how I think, and I can conclude what kind of a person I am. The second way is you can record yourself, the way I'm doing right now. This is one thing I also like about creating content. It's a matter of, it's so easy to go back and reflect. Reflect on how you speak. Reflect on the tone that you use. The third one, you can record your audio. Besides, apart from recording videos, you can record audios, where you just take out your phone, press the record button, start speaking out loud to yourself. And then once you are done, you play it back to yourself. The more you can study yourself, the more you know yourself, the higher you can raise your self-awareness. Because that's all that we get. All we get is awareness. Children are born blank. What they do is they start developing an awareness, and that's the only time that they can distinguish between men and women. Once you raise your self-awareness, once you become more self-aware about yourself, you can then start controlling everything else. Now, number 2, you have to build confidence. You have to be a confident person. Because if you're not confident, you won't be taking the necessary actions that is going to bring you closer to your goal. In order to build confidence, you must first learn how to tap in the now. Understand that the future and the past don't exist. The only time that exists is the now. The more you tap into the now, the more you raise your certainty. Because once you start thinking about things that don't exist, thinking about the future, or regretting what happened in the past, what happens is you start sparking emotions that results to inconsistency. Emotions like doubt, emotions like fear. Once you find yourself enclosed in those type of emotions, what you do is you hinder progress, you hinder clarity, and without clarity, you can't take the necessary actions. This is why you need a clear mind in order to make wise decisions. Whatever it is that you say that you are gonna do at that specific time, you should do it at that specific time without worrying about everything else. A lot of people, they live in emergency, they live like they're on an emergency life or emergency line. They're always on their phone. They can't put their phone down because they're scared to miss the latest trend or they're scared to miss calls or texts. But then, if you find yourself worrying too much about what doesn't exist experientially, because yes, the future and the past conceptually they do exist, but in the name of experiencing, we can't interact with both the past nor the future. To build confidence, you must start doing exactly what you said you were going to do at that specific time. Once you start betraying yourself, once you start procrastinating, then what you are doing is you are self-sabotaging yourself. You're shooting yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot or on the foot. I think it's in the foot. Now the third one is you need to read books. Now I don't know any guru, whether it's online, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in sales, that don't read books. There are books on everything. Everything that you think you're good at, you can instantly improve it by reading what someone who knows better than you do, by reading their work. Whatever it is, whether it's writing, whether it's singing, whether it's talking, there are books that can help you improve. Imagine you who's watching this video right now, and then best believe you're an expert at something. Imagine that you start writing a book of whatever you think that you are expecting, and someone else doesn't read it. What would you think about that person? Would you really think that that person really wants to know how to make money if you wrote about money, if you believe you're an expert on money? If you're an expert on psychology, someone who doesn't read the book, would you really believe that someone really wants to learn about psychology? Now, we're not saying that if you read a financial book, then you're going to be rich. No. End of the day, you need a skill. Money is not tied to what you know. Money is tied to what kind of a service you can provide for people. You can know all these things, but unless if what you know cannot help other people, then you won't make money. Myron Golden defines wealth in a very intellectual way, in a way that I really like. He said that wealth is the ability to create value for someone else. People must have a reason to pay you. But when you read books is you start understanding more fundamental things than the skill itself. When you want to learn about managing people, there are books on how to manage people better. There are books on how to be a better salesman. There are books that are going to teach you about the mind, about your mind. And the more you understand your mind, the higher you can raise your self-awareness, the sooner you can control yourself and thus everything else. Number 4 is your environment. Our environment plays a bigger bearing than our choices. Influence is greater than choice. If you are hanging around with people who don't have what it is that you want, do you really think that you're going to end up getting whatever it is that you want? Your environment dictates your results, whether it's a spiral going up or it's a spiral going down. A king who sits with peasants loses his crown. Your association is way more important than whatever it is that you know or whatever it is that you can do. Your environment is the one that either can take you from level 1 to level 2 or from level 2 to level 1, or it can just keep you stuck at one place. Where I live right now, the people around me aren't people who actually have the same mindset as I do. When you pull up a phone and you start recording content, they start making remarks, comments that are unnecessary. But I understand that this is the environment, this is what they are used to. People not doing anything. When you start doing something, it somehow makes them feel insecure. That's because they are already insecure. show me your friends, and I will show you your future. The fifth thing, which is the most important thing, you need to start making money. It's very important to start making money. When you start making money, what happens is more doors open. You start having access to the people that you want to be with. You start being in places that are going. You start being in places that are going to take you from level 5 to level 8. And you have to understand that making money is so simple. The first step to making money simple is to first believe that it's simple. Because if you believe that making money is hard, guess what? The world isn't the way you think it is. The world is the way we see it. If you can start making money, you can also start taking care of the people that you love. And then once you start taking care of the people that you love, once you start giving back to people, your family, the unfortunately what happens is you raise your frequency because once you start giving, what you're saying is that you already have. And once you believe that you already have, that's when you can only receive more. On the other hand, when you start making money, now these are the 5 tips. Now this isn't a video that you are just going to watch and then go sit back on your couch and start eating unhealthy and implement none of these tips. Because best believe, if you don't implement them, at least for 90 days, you'll find yourself wherever you are right now.